So we have a gentleman by the name of Ryan Hagen, who's a young manager who's been dying to talk to the biggest manager in the business. So Ryan, you're on today with Troy Carter. You there?
Yes, I am.
Ryan, meet Troy Carter.
Hey, Ryan. Troy, pleasure to meet you.
What's your question, Ryan?
My question is, what advice do you have for young, hungry, and driven managers as it relates to being successful in breaking new pop artists in today's music business? And are there specific relationships, networking opportunities, or events that you point to as being instrumental in your success?
One, I would say, as Steve could relate to, you got to have a real passion for it, because it's not an easy business, and so you got to have a real passion. So that way, when times get hard, you really stick with it. The other thing is, for me, I have a real personal relationship with all of the clients that I work with. It's more than just a transaction, and it's more than just business. I'm actually, in there fighting for people I love or people I really respect. And, and when you have those things, you don't mind taking the late night phone calls or, sacrificing the time away from your family, just because it's bigger than just a commission check or anything like that. In terms of building your network, for me on a personal level, there's nothing I value more in life than my relationships. My relationships, for the most part, aren't transactional relationships. The people who I, started in the business with, 20 years ago, are people who are still my friends, and, some of them have gone on to, run big record labels and become big managers and producers and things like that or whatever. The way Gaga, my relationship began with her was through, Vincent Herbert was somebody who I had a 15-year relationship with prior to even, meeting Gaga, and it was somebody who I always treated good. We were always buddies. I always took his phone calls, whether he was hot or cold. He always took my phone calls, whether I was hot or cold. And so just having those genuine relationships are important, and people notice that, and it stands out. So when you shake somebody's hand and say, hey, we got a deal, and that deal is a deal, people remember that, So back when I started, there were a lot of conventions and things like that and trade shows, which there aren't too many today, and I don't know why they don't exist anymore. But, so that was a chance to network with people and hand out your demo tapes and things like that or whatever. And now, if I was starting all over, send somebody a bottle of wine with a note just telling them you admire their work and you wanted to get to know them and, could they take 15 minutes with you and you don't waste their time when you walk into their office, So just think about those little things that as an executive that's going to make you stand out, make somebody take your phone call, and build a relationship like that.
I think, folks,
absolutely.
I hope everybody out there is taking notes. I mean, that is really what this business is all about, going out and networking, meeting people, building those relationships, making good on those relationships, and they always come back. Sometimes it takes years for those things to develop where you, quote, get something out of it. But if you're going to do something great in the music business, you better figure out how to get yourself in front of the players that are doing it and make an impact.